Question one, what is a megacity? So you can't just say this is a large city or a big city. You've got to be a bit more specific. You've got to say it's a city with at least 10 million people in. Next one, you've got a figure. You've got two maps showing the megacities in the world in 2015. Every red dot is a big city. What people think the world's going to be like in 2030. So question 1.2, you've got to basically complete the gap fill. You've got 3 gaps. You'll get 1 point for each gap using the words here. So the first one, the greatest increase in the number of megacities is in where? So where are there loads more megacities projected in the future? And we can clearly see there's loads more red dots here, particularly in India. So the answer is Southern Asia. So obviously it doesn't say Asia on the map. So you've got to know your continents, otherwise you can't access questions like this. Next one, there are no new megacities in what of the continents on the 2030 map? So there's no new continents in a half. So the answer will be half, because you've got 3 continents where there's more. You've got Asia where there's more, you've got Africa where there's more, and South America where there's more. You've got 3 continents where it's exactly the same. North America, still 3. Europe, there's still 4. And there's only 1 in Australasia. So the second one is half. And then the continent of what shows 100% growth in the number of megacities. So where is there? Basically 100% just means double. So the answer is not America, not Europe, not South America, not Australasia, not Asia. You've at least got, you've got 3 in Africa, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the future. So the answer is Africa. A pie chart showing how a household in a LIC, a poor country, spends its money. Question 1.3, describe the pattern of spending shown in figure 2. So 2 marks, so we're kind of after 2 separate brief points here. Now, when you've got a figure, you've got to just take a moment and think, what do I need to use in my answer? So you've got numbers all the way around the pie chart, and if there's numbers in a figure, ideally you must use them if you want to get full marks. You've also got a key which shows you what things are on the graph. So for instance, most obvious thing is to say that over 60% of spending is on food. Then to get your second mark, you might say, apart from food and transport, everything else bought equates to around about 25%. So as long as you pick out 2 points, you make sure you try and use the numbers, you should get full marks. Figure 3, a photograph of a rubbish dump in the slums in Manila. So question 1.4 suggests 1 opportunity for people shown in figure 3. It's 2 marks, but be careful. You can't just have 2 separate points because the question asks for just 1 opportunity. So pick a point and try and develop it using phrases like which means that. Now, on the face of it, an opportunity might be difficult to appreciate because all you've got are people picking up rubbish from a rubbish dump. So for one, what you can simply say, these people will collect rubbish for sale. To develop the point, which means that these people can earn a living and then go down the route of suggesting what they can do with that money to help them or their families. Or look at the type of job it is. This job is obviously unskilled work. So you could say they can collect rubbish for sale for 1 point, which provides, key term, informal employment for those that don't have skills. Finally, you've also got machinery in there as well. Now, looking at the mark scheme, they class the use of machinery as a skilled job. So you could say there are jobs available for operating machinery or tractors, where skilled jobs might be difficult to come by in the city. So that's at least an option for someone with a skill. 1.5. Use figure 3 and a case study of a city in an LIC or an NEE to assess the challenge of providing services to the city's population. 6 marks, roughly 6 minutes there. So, got to use figure 3. case study of our city is Mumbai. Well, we've got to basically judge if everyone in Mumbai is provided for. So this is what it means to assess the challenge. I've got to talk about the negatives for people, but to assess it, you've got to also have that balance. You're going to make sure maybe you talk about some opportunities. So in figure 3, quite a tricky one this. Looking at the mark scheme, what it would like you to do is basically realise that if there are people doing informal work, so this is unskilled work like simply picking up litter, it highlights the fact that the education systems, things like the schools in Manila, aren't very good, which I know is a stretch, but that is basically the key thing to pick up from here. Because the schools are rubbish, lots of people leave without a skill, so they do jobs like we see in that picture. So if you explain that, and then you can talk about Mumbai. Now, in Mumbai, yes, there are lots of challenges. As we know, there is the Dharavi slum, 1 million people live there, and then you can really develop all the reasons to why actually these people don't live the greatest life. Clean water is limited, they live in small rooms called chawls, there's lots of diseases, etc. However, to really make sure you get full marks to assess the challenge, well, actually in Mumbai, there are some opportunities. Mumbai's hospital has grown. It's gone from 50 beds in 1950 to 1,400 in 2015. So actually, people are being provided for. Also, you've got the education system in Mumbai. It went from a very small amount of primary and secondary schools, now there's over 1,000. So if you can get that balance in as well, that is how you get the full marks for this question. But you've got to use figure 3 a little bit, and obviously talk about Mumbai as well. Figure 4, a map showing the variation in life expectancy along 2 train lines in Birmingham. Your question, calculate the range in life expectancy shown in figure 4. So the figure looks quite complicated, but it's not really. You've basically got 2 train lines. You've got the blue line and the red line, and then all these are places along that train line in Birmingham. And the number is how long the average person will live for. So calculate the range, a little bit of maths. The range is just basically the biggest number take away the smallest. So you've got to scan the figure. Biggest number is 85, and the smallest number, there's a few of them, 76. So 85 take 76, the answer is 9. 1.7, use that figure and your own understanding, suggest why there are inequalities in health in urban areas. Inequalities basically means it's unequal. So why is life expectancy not the same in an urban area? So you have to, again, look back at the figure, and you've got to realise that the pattern is the closer you get to the city centre, the shorter your life expectancy is. So why is that? This is quite a tricky question, but the key term here is deindustrialisation. In lots of big cities around the UK, we used to have lots of manufacturing, making jobs in the city centre, but they've all gone now. A lot of these jobs have gone abroad. That's quite a stretch to come up with that, but once you've got that, you'll then just explain those knock-on effects. So if lots of jobs have gone from the city centre, people have less money. Then just try and link that to why they don't live very long. They maybe can't afford and have a varied diet. Maybe they don't have access to good health care. In the mark scheme, it suggests that people who are deprived, don't have a lot of money, are more likely to have an unhealthy lifestyle, which will include smoking and drinking. Or you could flip it around and say, well, I know in cities in rich countries like England that the wealthy people live on the outskirts of the city. And if they live there, then again, they will have more money so they can have better access to healthcare. Maybe the fact that the air quality is better on the outskirts, you might be able to link that to a city centre having lots of cars, so people might have breathing difficulties, which could reduce their life expectancy. 1.8, Outline one way that international migration has led to a changing character of a named UK city. So it's worth 2 marks, but again, be careful. Ask just for one way. So 2 separate points here will not get you the full marks. You've got to pick one and then develop your point. So international migration, these are people that have moved from other countries. Now we've got to talk about a named UK city. Our UK city is Nottingham. So can you explain how people that have come from abroad to live in Nottingham have changed the character? Now, a lot of you in the lesson talked about places in Nottingham, but we'll also count Beeston as well. For instance, a few of you said around where a lot of Chinese students live that go to the university, there's been a lot of services that have come up to accommodate their needs. We've also looked, there's a couple of international supermarkets in Nottingham now that sell food from these people's countries that they are used to and will want to buy again in Nottingham. There is the Eagle pub, which was another example that we showed you, which was a pub for Polish people as well. So as long as you have that one reason and make sure you make it specific to Nottingham, should get you full marks. 1.9. To what extent has urban change created opportunities in a UK city you have studied? 9-mark question, so give yourself around 10 minutes of writing time. Now, the UK city we have studied is Nottingham. So the question is basically saying, do you agree that as Nottingham has grown into the city it is today, that it has just created what the exam will call opportunities? Basically, has it just been good? Now, there have been some opportunities. For instance, Nottingham is home to loads of big companies such as Boots and Speedo, which obviously provide jobs. And you can use the phrase which means that to develop your point about jobs, linking into money, and then people having the money to spend on themselves and family and improving their quality of life. But also think about the social opportunities. The fact that Nottingham has 2 very good universities, University of Nottingham and Nottingham Trent. You've also got East Midlands Airport, not too far away, which can fly people all around the world relatively easily. However, to get to what's called a level 3 answer, that's 7 or more out of 9, you've got to give yourself enough time to argue to what extent. Because yes, there's been some great opportunities, there's also some negatives and some challenges, some bad things. So, for instance, Nottingham has a big problem with homelessness, particularly for young people. That's also linked to a big drug problem as well. People take things like Black Mamba and Spice, they're becoming very popular. You've also got a lot of people that don't work. This is called unemployment, and particularly in Nottingham, places like Bulwell and Aspley are very deprived and have high levels of unemployment. You could also talk about maybe the fact that yes, the city has grown and lots of people have a lot of money, but the city is also expanding out. This is called urban sprawl, and you can link in here that one example is Field Farm in Stapleford, where the city is growing. It's taken over a site that used to be for a farm. It's now having brand new homes being built there, and as a result, mice have not got a home anymore. The hedgerows that they used to live in have been cut down, so they're all invading local houses. So I would say that yes, there have been some opportunities, but there is also challenges as well. You need to get that balance if you want to get 7 or more out of 9.